Good morning, everybody. We are here to embrace technology and fintech, and our engagement and expectations will continue to evolve. Competition is fierce, but so is consolidation. And in order to illuminate the new pathways in fintech, we need to look at the driving forces behind competition, the challenges for industry leaders and newcomers, and the future of disruptive innovation. Joining me now is Luanne Lim. She is the HSBC Hong Kong CEO, and no better person to talk about this with me. Luanne.
Thank you, Emily.
It's really good to see you today. Now, let's first start our discussion with what we heard on the stage here about an hour ago from the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, Christopher Hui. He was talking about a dual-track policy statement and the application of AI into the financial markets here in Hong Kong. Give us your take on what we heard this morning.
It's an extremely welcome statement, and it's an extremely welcome sort of policy for the industry. Because Gen AI has brought about fantastic capabilities, fantastic advancements for us. And it's something that we've been looking at for a while now. But it doesn't come without risk and limitations. And that's where regulations need to come in. And that's where policy support needs to come in. So we have been looking at this for a while. We've got about 100 cases that we are looking at for Gen AI, not AI, which we can talk about separately. And a lot of them are currently used or focused in the productivity space. So, for example, programmers and how they code. But we have not yet started on Gen AI to customer-facing capabilities. And that's precisely because there are risks and limitations associated with it. So we need to tread carefully, and it's a really welcome statement from Chris today.
That's great. Thank you for reflecting on that. And we can take a step back and talk about a traditional bank in which HSBC is. But many banks now are partnering with technology companies. Why and how are financial institutions and fintechs working together? Can there be collaboration and competition?
Yes, and I think that question was actually posed to me more than 10 years ago. And it was phrased in a way that it's much more competition than collaboration. I think that has totally turned around now. I think there's massively on collaboration rather than competition. And at the heart of this is that Hong Kong has an ambition to be a digital innovation hub. And it's something that will only happen if we have a strong ecosystem in Hong Kong. And we are here to enable that. So maybe I'll touch on our relationship with fintechs, and it really is multifaceted, right? There's so many angles to it. And I'll try and break it down a little bit. So starting with number one, what we do best. We're a bank, we're bankers. So we engage with entrepreneurs, startup, innovators whose businesses are at different stages of maturity. And we say, how can we help you as a bank? A lot of these companies, as you know, they cannot qualify for traditional financial products. They don't have a 3-year P&L to show. They don't have assets that they can, mortgage with you. So we need a different type of product that we can offer them, and we do have them now. We have, venture debt, financing options that include, equity warrants. So these are products that we come up with, and we want to support these fintech companies to become successful businesses. Hong Kong to date has about 12 unicorns that we have homegrown. There is no reason why we can't do more, and HSBC should be the bank of choice for that. Last year, we launched a new economy fund of $3 billion to support fintechs. And also last year, we launched HSBC Innovation Bank. That's following our purchase of Silicon Valley Bank UK. And so now we have a really strong proposition to help these fintechs. So that's really the main angle, which is us as a bank. The second angle to this is us as a customer of a fintech, because we want to use them. Fintech startup especially, they are extremely agile, extremely innovating, and they come up with ideas and they turn them into solutions so fast. And I say this because they don't have the baggage of legacy technology stacks. So we want to use those services to improve the customer products and services for ourselves, so what we can offer our customers. And we do that through sometimes acquisition, sometimes through co-development to better our services. The third angle where we work with fintechs is we are an investor. So we have HSBC Innovation Ventures, and we invest in startups that are high potential. This is, for us at least, it's extremely targeted at the moment. We look for fintech firms that have services that we can use, and then we invest in them. And we make sure that we help them along the journey, so we're a customer and an investor. So it creates a really good virtuous cycle for us to make sure that our investment and our offerings are entirely aligned. So I think these are the three sort of main ways that we work with fintechs. But perhaps the best way to illustrate it and then bring it to life is earlier this year last year we signed an agreement with Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, so HKSTP, and it's really a one of its kind agreement or 3-year strategic partnership to bring all these facets into the STP portfolio company ecosystem. And we've seen some signs of successes. So early this year, we invested in a fintech startup called Fano Labs, and we currently use their services in our call center. And we are looking to co-develop solutions with them for other parts of the bank. The other angle that I talked about earlier was as a banker, and we've invested. We've come up with a solution for another STP startup called Fund Park, F-U-N-D Park, not F-U-N Park, and it's allowed them to more actively participate in the e-commerce sector, for example. We also work with STP to help mentor fintechs, to make them big bang ready. What does that mean? We have workshops and sessions where we come in, we bring our bankers in and we say, look, if you want a bank or you want a big bank as a customer, you need to understand banks are heavily regulated. You need to make sure your solutions take into account the challenges of the industry. Also, if you want facilities from a bank to expand, these are the kind of facilities. What do banks look out for? The AML risk of our customers, the credit risk of our customers. So how do you get ready to grow? And we give them the kind of mentorship that's needed for that. And I think that's quite special. Lastly, a lot of fintech and startup firms, they set up in Hong Kong, not because they only want to capture the opportunities in Hong Kong. They come here because we are an international financial center. They want to use us as a platform to go overseas. And HSBC is, a huge global bank, and we can help with that. So we will intend to take some of these companies overseas, introduce them to our networks, our clients overseas, and hopefully help them with their ambition. So the conclusion is, yes, more collaboration, less competition.
And maybe consolidation even. But
Yeah.
Before, we're not going to get into that. I want to talk about frontier technologies, a shaping AI, fintech business model, and the ecosystem dynamics.
Yeah, it's a good time this year to really reflect on that. And when I talk to my team and even our leadership team, I talk about the strategy of the bank, but I also often say all of that rests on two key enablers, tech and talent. That's it. If you can't get that right, whatever business strategy you have is not going to work. So if we look at tech and talent, if we look at technology, we are at the most rapid pace of technology advancement in the history, in the entire history. And that's because there are concurrently a number of developments going on. So cloud computing came out, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, digital assets, digital currency, tokenization. And that allows people now to interact, exchange information, bank in an atomic fashion. Right, so that's where we are with technology. On people, we are seeing an emerging generation in the workforce, and they are digitally native. It's all they've ever known, online, getting information, within seconds. That's the life they've known, since they were born. And this generation is now out working in in the workforce. And for them, actually, there was a survey done with the Gen Zs, and more than 80% of them have said their ambition is to run their own business, be in control of their time and their efforts, and not work for a large corporation like myself. So this is really interesting because these two factors together is going to help entrepreneurship and creativity and innovation thrive more than before. And then you layer on top of that the VC industry, which is now booming, right? We're talking about 300 billion annually that is going into venture capital funds. And VC funds as well are seeing a lot more sources coming to them. So it's not just big companies, it's family office, private equity, private high net worth individuals. They're all going into VCs. And you put that all together and it really creates such an environment that we've never had before in previous generations, where it's easy to start a business compared to before. Before, when you want to start a business, you have to hire a load of people, rent an office, buy some machinery. Now you start a business with a laptop, good Wi-Fi, sitting on a beach, writing a few lines of code. That's how easy it is. So that means the barriers to entry are low, the cost of failure is low, and there's so much more incentive to be creative, to give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? So I think that creates a very different environment from the generations before. Yeah.
As we talk about AI, I'm also interested to know what productivity and efficiency gains you have. I was recently in Taiwan and sitting down with the chairman of Foxconn. This is the maker of the Apple iPhones. And he said that at their peak, when they're manufacturing, they have 1.3 million employees. But with AI, they have cut it down to 900,000. So are you able to quantify or give us examples of how you've seen efficiency at HSBC through AI, through technology?
Okay, I think if we talk about AI, we have been working on AI for a long time now. In fact, our first machine learning model in HSBC was developed more than a decade ago. So we have the know-how, we have the right data scientists, we have the right engineers, we have the right researchers. We have about 1,000 cases, more than 1,000 cases, either in use or still being experimented on. So it's something that we've been working on for a long time. Where we have deployed it, I'll give you some examples. Where customer service is concerned, it's on being more targeted. So not a one-size-fits-all marketing strategy. We are able to segment them. We are able to look at transactions behavior. We are able to look at how they spend their money and be more targeted to our clients. So that's one. The other thing is for efficiency in our processes to our customers. So in our HSBC insurance business, for example, we've invested very, very heavily in AI. And today, if you go online and you submit an online reimbursement claim, it used to take you 5 days to get that claim. Now it takes us 5 minutes. So again, to our customers, right, it's really important. Also in the sort of small business SME space, we've been involved in open banking for a while now, but the recent launch in conjunction with the government is on interbank account data sharing. So for a small business, what happens is you can go online, you can give consent to the bank, and the bank can then collect information from all your other banks. So your loan process, your loan application process becomes a lot more simple and faster. And it's really important because these small businesses, they don't have a lot of resources. And we really need to help them get a bit more efficient. Lastly, and to your point about big numbers, we use them for fighting financial crime. So in HSBC, every month, we go through 1.4 billion transactions to find transactions that we think there's crime involved. And for that, it's a lot of work and a lot of human beings. And we've actually now, depending on the market that we're in, 2 to 4 times more efficient in that space because we partnered with Google to develop a solution that helps us identify financial crime a lot better. So I think there are so many examples. But I think it was Chris earlier that mentioned the human centricity is very, very important. So we focus a lot on AI is going to cause so many jobs to go away, but we don't focus enough on AI is going to create so many more new jobs. Because of that design and the human centricity is really important. At the end of all our products and services as a bank is a customer. And a lot of what we do is going to be determined by that customer. And we still need a lot of human beings to help us with that. So jobs will go, but new jobs will come. And I think that's an important point to make sure people understand.
HSBC in 2022 invested $6.1 billion with a B in digital and technology development. Can you update us on where that figure is now for 2024? What is the projected figure, and how much of that is for specifically AI?
So we haven't got a number yet, or there's not a number that I can communicate with you on how what we're gonna spend and what we're gonna spend it on. But I think it's really important for HSBC. We recognize how important technology is. In October, we appointed a new group CEO, and one of the first restructuring he did was to have the tech function of the bank report directly into him. That wasn't the case before. So the CIO now is a direct report and has a seat at the top table of the bank. That's a sign that this is a really important agenda for us. The other thing I think that's really important to also make a point on is we will invest in frontier technologies. We will invest in AI hugely, as we have in previous years. But we will also invest in our core technology, our core platforms, on operational resilience, and to make sure that we simplify our core infrastructure, because that's table stakes. Making sure everything runs smoothly is table stakes, and then adding on AI and frontier technologies above that. So I think that's really, really important as well, and we will make sure that we get that balance right. But coming back to the point I made earlier, all our investments and where we focus our energy on is going to be about the end customer and what they need, and how we can make their business better, how we can make their life better, and how we can make their banking experience better. That's going to drive what we do.
Luanne, I wish we had more time, but
I wish
think
too.
that's all we have time for. Please help me to thank Luanne Lim from HSBC.
Thank you.